Well, hey guys, it's March 2017, late winter, and it is still very much winter outside. This weekend we've had temperatures in the teens with severe wind chill and just not riding weather yet. So I took the opportunity to bring the WR into the basement so I could do some work on it for the winter and get it prepared for the next riding season. Now, those of you who've seen my other videos know that I like to travel and tour and even spend a day or two on the WR. So what I've done, the goals that I've had for the next riding season are to make it a little bit easier and add some more conveniences and accessories for the bike. So I'm adding actually 5 things. I'm adding a battery tender lead so that I can charge up the battery during the winter months. I can also use that to power up an air compressor on the road if we decide to air our tires down. I'm going to add a GPS wire, which I already had, which was wired to the battery. I'm adding a lead for heated gear so that I can keep myself warm and extend my riding season. In New England here, if you don't have heated gear, you're pretty much riding between maybe May and September, and I want to extend that by a few months in either direction. I'm also adding a 12-volt accessory socket so that I can charge my phone and camera batteries on the road. It's real convenient. And then the last thing I'm adding is some heated grips, which I'm working on now. But the problem that you're going to run into is if you want to add some of these accessories is, do you really want to have 4 or 5 wires running straight to the battery with inline fuses for each one? It turns into a real nightmare. And then when you want to remove the battery to charge it for the winter, do you have all these wires hanging out all over the place? So I got the solution now that I'm going to show you that's allowed me to really run pretty clean electrics, safe, and pretty easy too. Let's take a look. So this is a solution to my problem. This is a fuse block made by a company called Sentech, the AP1 model. I had the same one for my KLR a number of years ago and found it worked really well. It's actually really simple. My experience with motorcycle electronics and wiring is pretty much limited to knowing there's a positive and negative, but I found this to be very straightforward and easy. So what you've got is on this side you've got all your power wires, and on this side you've got your negative wires. So let's say you've got an accessory like a GPS wire. It's going to come to you with a positive and a negative wire and then an inline fuse. What you can do is cut off that inline fuse and run your positive wire into one of these outlets here, and then you run your negative in here. Just have to find the right fuse amperage. What I do is just basically pull the inline fuse and put it into this circuit here so I know the amperage is exactly correct. Let me show you just a simple wiring chart so you can see what I'm talking about. So the positive outputs are all at the top here. Now on your outside ones you have room for 1 connection each. Now the 3 middle ones you can put 2 connections each. So there's a possibility of having actually 8 things wired into here. As long as your amperage is accurate and correct for these middle ones. And then your negatives go all down here, and it doesn't matter where they go. You can put them anywhere. Then what you do is this one here, you wire that right to the battery. And I use an inline fuse, a 30 amp fuse for that. And then you wire this to the negative part of the battery. And that's basically it. So you got the capacity to put up to 8 components in there. Now, like I said, this is a pretty easy installation. It's just a little bit time consuming and just trying to get all your wires from possibly the front of the bike to the back here. So what I ended up doing on this bike, the WR, was removing the body panels, and then I loosened up the gas tank so that I could get underneath with the wiring, and it made the access much easier. Doing what in this case 5 accessories really didn't take much time at all. One other thing I'll add to this is that this is running off the battery 100% of the time. So you have a couple options if you are worried about draining your battery from leaving an accessory on. You can get a different model. I think it may be the AP2 from Sentech that has some ones that are keyed to power. And then the other option would be to wire a relay into this so that it's only working off a keyed power source on your bike. There are other videos that can show you how to do that. For me, I was fine with this running all the time because I want to do a battery tender so I can charge in the winter and not worry about having the key on. And then for me, a GPS on all the time is easy to spot and turn off, and having a 12-volt socket is not a big deal either. It's not going to kill my battery if I leave it on for an hour or so, and I always disconnect it at the end of the day anyway. So for me, this was a very easy solution to having 4 or 5 wires connected to the battery. Got my heated gear lead here. This is for charging up my battery. Now I've got power to my GPS all the time, and then I added this slick 12-volt socket from Tusk that bolts right to the handlebars. Now I'm adding some heated grips, and I may do a video on that later on. I added a relay for that. Now this is something, it's not specific to the WR. You can do this on any bike, and I really recommend it if you're running more than probably 2 accessories to your battery. It just makes things a lot easier. The AP1 I got for $50 on Amazon. The other leads and wires are less than $10 each. For me, it's going to be very comfortable this season. I'm going to be able to ride starting in March. I'll ride all the way into November with this bike. If you have any questions about the Sentech fuse block, just let me know. Thanks for watching, and talk to you later.